Welcome, everybody. We're diving deep into AI influencers today. They're everywhere on social media these days, and they're really blurring the line between like what's real and what's, completely virtual.
It really is incredible.
We've been reading all about them, articles on the tech behind it, the whole like marketing side of it, even some pieces that get into like the philosophy of it all.
Yeah, it's fascinating. It really is where technology and culture are kind of, smashing together.
So we want to like understand how they actually work, how they're changing marketing, and what this all means for the future.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of the things that's changing so quickly too, so it's hard to keep up.
Right, exactly. And influencer marketing, that whole world is changing, and I think AI is a big part of that.
I agree, yeah.
But so, like, let's start with the basics. Okay, so we're scrolling through our feeds, and we see these hyper-realistic avatars, these AI influencers. What's actually going on there?
Yeah. Well, I mean, they're designed uh to mimic human behavior and appearance. But the thing is, they're completely fabricated, you
No.
know. It's a mix of some pretty advanced tech and a whole lot of like artistic skill.
So it's not just like some simple computer program.
Oh, no. No, not at all. Think of it this way. You've got these deep learning algorithms, especially these things called generative adversarial networks. And then there's natural language processing.
Okay.
And they analyze massive data sets of human behavior. It's everything.
Oh.
How we talk, how we write, even our facial expressions, body language.
Wow.
And then all that data is used to train the AI to make its own content and interactions. And that's how it seems so lifelike.
Okay, so that's kind of how they get the intelligence part, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
But how do they go from like lines of code to looking like, actual people?
Right. So that's where the artistry comes in. So you got these amazing 3D artists, and they're working with graphic designers, and they're literally crafting the AI's whole look, every detail, facial features, hairstyle, clothes, accessories, you name it.
It's incredible, really. The
Yeah.
amount of effort, I mean, I never thought about it like that. But why go through all that trouble? Why are AI influencers suddenly this big deal in marketing?
Well, think about marketing these days. Like traditional ads, they're just not cutting it anymore. People are just
Yeah.
bombarded with them all the time, and we've gotten really good at tuning them out.
Oh, I know I do. Like I scroll past most ads without even like noticing them.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
that's where these AI influencers come in. It's a new way to, reach people, but in a way that's more engaging. It's more personalized. And for brands, they love that they're, always on brand, 24/7, never getting tired and never, causing a PR disaster.
So they're like the perfect brand ambassadors, always reliable, always on message. You can completely control them. But isn't there something, I don't know, kind of shallow about that? Like, how can a computer program something that's never actually felt an emotion, how can it really connect with an audience?
That's one of the biggest issues people are talking about with AI influencers.
Hmm.
Authenticity. They can mimic how we interact, but they don't actually have emotions or lived experiences.
Right.
So it makes you wonder if we can really have those meaningful connections with something that, doesn't experience life like we do.
So brands might love them, but like real people, will audiences actually buy into it?
Well, so far there's this interesting trend. In the beginning, AI influencers tend to have much higher engagement rates than human influencers. People are drawn to the novelty, the perfect pictures, the carefully curated content. But there's this catch. It seems their long-term follower growth kind of levels off.
So people get curious, but then it wears off.
Pretty much, yeah.
Makes sense. I mean, we connect with human influencers because we see, parts of ourselves in them, their struggles, their realness. It's a shared experience. Can AI really replicate that?
That's the million-dollar question. Some people think that, yeah, as AI gets more advanced, it will be able to, simulate all that, emotions, experiences in a way that feels real.
So it's not if, but when.
Yeah, maybe. But that raises another question, like, if they do get that good, if they become indistinguishable from us, then what? Then we have to think about the ethics of it all.
That's true.
Yeah, transparency becomes super important. As they get more sophisticated, it's easy to imagine people being tricked. Brands have a responsibility to be honest about, what's behind their product, who or what is representing it.
Yeah, otherwise you're going to face some backlash when people realize they were misled.
Exactly. And it's not just about brands being transparent. We need to think about, could this be used to spread misinformation, manipulate people, create these impossible beauty standards? It's a lot of, gray areas.
It's a lot more complicated than it seems on the surface, that's for sure. These AI influencers, I mean, they're sparking some really important conversations. But before we get too deep into that, let's look at some, real world examples.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Let's meet some of the most successful ones out there. And they're not just pretty faces. They're really shaking things up, making a real impact.
That's what's so fascinating about this. It's not just, theory anymore. These AI influencers are out there interacting with us, shaping the world around us.
Yeah.
And it feels like we're just getting started.
Let's start with someone we've mentioned already, Lil Miquela. She's got a huge following, and she's become like a cultural icon.
Oh, yeah, she's worked with some major brands too, right? Like Calvin Klein, Prada. I mean, those are high-end names. What makes them choose an AI over, a human celebrity?
That's the thing about luxury brands, right? They're all about this carefully crafted image.
Right.
It's about exclusivity. And with Lil Miquela, they have complete control. There's no risk of scandals or anything like that.
I guess that makes sense for brands that rely on that, like, perfect image.
Exactly. It's all about minimizing risk and maintaining that brand narrative, that control.
But I don't know, can a virtual influencer really capture what luxury is all about? It's a world that's so connected to, like, tangible experiences, real emotions.
That's the gamble these brands are taking, and so far it seems to be working.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, her campaigns generate a ton of buzz, a lot of engagement, and she's introduced these brands to like a younger audience, people who are online all the time.
So reaching a new demographic.
Exactly, in a way that traditional marketing might not be able to.
It's pretty amazing to see how AI is changing even these like really established industries.
Yeah.
And it's not just high fashion. I mean, remember Ludo Magalu, that Brazilian retail giant's AI influencer?
Oh, yeah. Ludo Magalu is a great example of, how AI can be designed for specific cultures. She's got this like playful energy that really reflects Brazilian culture, and she blends it with, e-commerce really seamlessly.
Yeah, I remember seeing her Instagram. She's super engaging, product reviews, lifestyle tips. She's even in dance challenges.
Exactly. She's not just some static model. She's like a character. She interacts with her followers,
Yeah.
builds a sense of community, and it's working. She's driven a lot of sales for the brand.
So AI influencers can actually, change how people shop.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It really shows you that AI isn't just like this one size fits all thing. It can be adapted to different people, different cultures. Makes you wonder what other areas are going to be, disrupted by AI influencers.
Well, think about sustainability, for example. There's this AI influencer called Bee Influencer. And it's this cute little bee avatar, and it's all about raising awareness for environmental issues, and it promotes, eco-friendly products.
So AI influencers can be like a force for good.
Absolutely.
That's cool.
Bee Influencer is a perfect example of how AI can get people talking about important issues, make them more relatable, more accessible.
It's like using this powerful technology for a positive impact. But let's shift gears a bit. We've talked about the good stuff, but what about the concerns people have about AI influencers?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest ones is what this means for human jobs. Are AI influencers going to replace, real creators, models?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, these AI influencers, they don't need breaks, they don't need salaries, they can work across all these different platforms.
It's true, yeah. Some of those tasks might be, automated as AI gets better. But you have to remember, AI influencers still rely a lot on human input. I mean, there are artists, designers, writers creating their look, their dialogue, their social media posts. And then there are marketing teams behind, their whole strategy.
So it's not so much about like replacing jobs, but changing them.
Exactly. It's more of a collaboration. AI can do the repetitive stuff, the things that take a lot of time. And then that frees up human creators to do the more, strategic stuff, the creative stuff, things that need, that human touch.
Like those hybrid workflows we were talking about.
Yeah, exactly. It's about finding that balance. You use the strengths of AI and human talent, and together they can create something better than either could alone.
I like that. So this is all really interesting, but I keep thinking about like the bigger picture. How will AI influencers change, how we interact with technology, with authenticity, with our own sense of identity?
Well, that's where things get really, really interesting. We're in uncharted territory here. As these AI influencers become more, advanced, more a part of our lives, that line between what's real and what's virtual is just going to keep getting blurrier.
Yeah.
And it makes us think about what we consider genuine, what's trustworthy. What does it even mean to connect with someone in this digital world.
It's like a giant social experiment, and we're all in it.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. And we don't know what the outcome will be. Will we just, like, accept this new reality? Will we demand more transparency from brands, from platforms?
It's something we all need to think about because, I mean, this is happening right now. The future of, influence, maybe even our own digital identities, it's being shaped as we speak.
I know. It's wild to think we're already here, like, just a few years ago. This whole idea of, like, a computer-generated influencer, it was like sci-fi, right? And now they're on magazine covers, they're working with huge brands, millions of followers.
It's insane how fast things are moving. What seems crazy today could be totally normal tomorrow. And that's, I know it's exciting, but it's also kind of like unsettling, right?
Yeah, it is. It feels like we're making the rules up as we go.
Exactly.
So where do we go from here? Like, what can our listeners do to, I don't know, make sense of all this, navigate this whole, new world? Well, I think the first thing is just stay informed, right? The more you know about AI and what it all means, the better decisions you can make. As a consumer, as someone who's a part of this whole, digital world.
Yeah, knowledge is power, for sure, especially with technology that's, changing so fast.
Exactly. And, don't be afraid to question what you see. Just because an influencer looks real, sounds real, doesn't mean they are. Do a little digging, see if the brands are being upfront, and if something seems too good to be true, it probably is.
It's like that saying, right? Don't believe everything you see on the internet. But it's like even more important now with all these AI influencers.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think, the last thing is, remember that AI, at the end of the day, it's a tool. It can be used in good ways and bad ways. It's up to us as consumers, as people, to demand that it's used ethically.
So we have a responsibility here to shape how AI develops.
Absolutely. Our choices, what we demand from brands, being critical thinkers, it all matters.
Yeah. That's a powerful thought. We're not just watching this happen. We're a part of it.
Right. And, it's not all doom and gloom. It's not all about fear or skepticism. There's also this, sense of wonder, this potential. AI it could unlock so much creativity, connect us in ways we never imagined, even help us solve some of the world's biggest problems.
So it's not all bad.
Not at all. It's complicated, for sure. Lots of challenges, but also tons of opportunities. And we're figuring it all out together.
I feel like we've, gone deep today. We've talked about the tech, the ethical side of things, the philosophy. I mean, we've really explored this whole world of AI influencers.
Yeah, we really have. And like we said before, it's just the beginning. This is a technology that's constantly changing, evolving, and it's going to be, I think it's going to be amazing to see where it goes.
So as we wrap up here, what's the one thing you want our listeners to take away from all of this?
I think it's that AI influencers are here to stay. They're changing marketing, they're blurring the lines between real and virtual, and they're making us rethink what's authentic, what's real, how we connect with technology. It's a lot. We can figure it out together.
Stay informed, stay curious, and don't be afraid to ask the tough questions.